Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're going to love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. My name is Marcus, and I am your clueless leader. Today we're going to go on a learning journey, and I do have a special guest with me, but before we get to that, I do have Miss Muffin with me.
Hey y'all.
But special guest with us on the phone is Dustin Lee. Say hey everybody, Dustin.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, Dustin, so you are a world-renowned drag racer.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I'm just old hillbilly.
Well, I think that's kind of how the sport of drag racing kind of came to be anyways. I mean, you know, most racing, that's how it started. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with that grassroots racing that it still is in this day and age.
That's where it starts, for sure, 100%.
So how long have you been drag racing in itself altogether?
I mean, personally, since I was probably 13 years old, and I'm 35, so 22 years. My dad, I grew up around it. I mean, he raced my whole life, so, I mean, basically it was from ground zero for me. I was a baby at the racetrack.
Hey, that is a fantastic upbringing. Honestly, I think we need more of that type of upbringing going on.
It definitely, you know, keeps your mind on drag racing for the most part if you get hooked. And there's a lot worse things that we could do. So for sure it helps. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when your addiction is cars and motorcycles, you don't have money to spend on drugs and other things.
That's right. Yep, exactly. And you want to work every day to make more money from more car and motorcycle parts. So
that's absolutely correct. So how long have you been drag racing motorcycles?
I started racing bikes when I was 16. So you're talking 19 years.
Okay.
I started out on a bar bike with a full slider OKZ, and it kind of progressed until I got tired of needing a pit crew, and I got into street bike stuff, and I've been stuck on those for years. So just a lot less work, you know.
Right. And you're currently, if I'm not mistaken, is it a Hayabusa or is it just a Hayabusa body shell?
No, I have two 2008 Hayabusas that I drag race. They're both class bikes, as I call them. One runs a class called Top Gas. That's like a 510 eighth mile, 820 quarter mile. And then the other one runs, usually the fastest it'll go is like a 560 index class, and then bracket racing.
Okay. What type of the racing do you prefer? Do you prefer the bracket racing?
Oh, yeah. Like I think real racers always, you know, magnetize toward bracket index racing. If you want to race, that's where you go. You know, I mean, you can always do heads up stuff, and that's a different whole level of money for one thing, but those guys don't get to race as much. You know, they don't have as many opportunities as like going to the local track and getting to race because their stuff won't work there. So if you want to race, sportsman and bracket racing is where you need to be for sure.
Yeah, so I had the chance to sit down last year with Sonny Vick, and we talked a lot about bracket racing, and it seemed really, really fun and really enjoyable because you don't have to worry about getting up against somebody that has a similar motorcycle or vehicle to race to you. You know, I could go out there with a fairly stock Harley Davidson and be on the track at the same time as you doing bracket racing.
As long as you understand the concept, you know, reaction time, and then as in bracket racing, you have a predicted dial-in, you can race anything. And that's the beauty of it is, you know, you can't be out-muscled by money if you have a talent. If you're good at cutting a good light, which is a reaction time, and predicting your dial-in or racing, you know, the finish line, they call it, if you're good at it, no matter how much money's in another lane, it don't matter. You can still win, you know. So you could come off the street and just like it and enjoy it and practice and become competitive. You know, I mean, of course there's parts you can buy, but if you're good, you're good. The parts just make you better.
Right. So let me ask you, you have a company, Hard Times Parts and Service. What is Hard Times?
So Hard Times Parts and Service, about 90% of it is performance drag racing parts. So I sell everything you can think of for any kind of drag bike that's on the racetrack. But I also sell ATV, side-by-side, street, just regular street bike stuff, dirt bikes, you name it. Like any kind of, power sports deal, I'm involved in it. So I don't do a whole lot of that stuff, but I do have, close friends that need tires for the dirt bike or whatever, and I get all that stuff. In top to bottom in the power sports stuff, I can cover it for the most part.
So dealing with dirt bikes and ATVs as well, have you done very much dirt drags?
No, I mean, I've got people that I've helped tune clutches and stuff with that does dirt drag stuff, but I've not really had – the thing about dirt drag stuff really is it's depend on the level of it. It could be full-blown just them guys got to make stuff. You know what I mean? They got to make the part. They can't just buy the part, But there's some stuff that merge over from like asphalt drag racing to the dirt. Just depends on the setup, and what kind of dirt drag they have and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some of those dirt drag motorcycles and ATVs. It appears that they're running like rail buggy sand tires on the rear of their vehicles. They're so big and stuff, and it's just it blows my mind to see those types of things. And I think sometimes when people think just drag racing, immediately in their head, the first thing that pops up is the Top Fuel dragster that everybody's used to. The 4 to 5 second quarter mile cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, man, these days they drag race RC cars. You know what I mean? So the rule of a drag race is two competitors sitting beside each other and competing against each other, no matter if it's dirt, asphalt, ice, snow, whatever. You know what I mean? You can drag race anywhere. You can drag race in your living room if you want.
Yeah, it's really neat when you start digging into the sport for someone that's not that involved in it to see every aspect of it. I mean, I've seen a combination of dirt drags and hill climb where they're essentially doing hill climbs next to each other. And it's super cool, man.
It's definitely a gearhead thing. You know what I mean? Like the gearheads will always try to figure out a way to do something fun. You know what I mean?
So it seems to me I'm a Harley guy through and through. I love all motorcycles, all makes, models, and I've had several of them. But it seems to me that there is more Harleys popping up in the drag racing scene. What do you think?
Yeah, the performance bagger thing is a big deal right now. I mean, they've got some stripped down Harley stuff that's got the weight down low, get them a lot lighter. They got performance front ends, and they've upgraded the swing arms and went to different wheels, and they're flying. I mean, there's some that's 7-second stuff, with no wheelie bars. It's definitely growing. I actually personally had a performance bagger I built a couple years ago. I recently sold it into last year, but it was a Street Glide Milwaukee 8 engine with 124 kit that I kind of come up with myself. 80 Advance and Hines done some heads. I got some pistons from George Bryce and a cam, and it was pretty rowdy. I mean, it made I think it was 154 horsepower and 154 pounds of torque. With, if you know Harleys, that's pretty radical for a street bike. That's pretty much you can ride anywhere, and it's growing fast.
Yeah, and the fantastic thing, scary thing about the motorcycle like that is the way that the torque curve comes on and stuff. I mean, it's just insane the way that those motorcycles launch.
They're so nasty down low. I mean, they're all, we call them stunt pullers. When you build those motors, they have so much torque. Like mine had the same torque as it did horsepower. And like a metric bike don't have that. Like a Hayabusa don't have the same torque as it has horsepower. So in that, instance, like it's all, when you hit it, you feel it. And I had Penske racing shocks on mine just because it made it ride so much better because the factory shocks wasn't that great. And I sell stuff for those things all the time. It is really, growing pretty quick. I mean, every series is trying to have some kind of V-twin or bagger class involved.
Yeah, like I said, the bagger stuff, it seems to definitely be growing, not just on the drag strip, but then also with the King of the Bagger series and everything.
I mean, they're on the road every day. People's building their street bikes and making them nasty, and ride them every day, 2 people on it. And I had a buddy that has a shop in Knoxville, and he does does them like every day. I mean, every week there's a motor job going in and out, dyno tune, you name it. So it's people's wanting to go faster. They want their old cruisers to run better, and it's there. The availability of parts and technology is there now to make them run. Back in the day it was tough, but now it's no problem.
Yeah, and that that Milwaukee 8 engine that you said you had, that engine just seems like it's so easy to pull power out of it.
Man, like those things respond so much to just a big bore kit. It's like, the O2 valves, you could make them run, but it was a lot more work. And now the Milwaukee 8's here. I mean, you could do a cam and some pistons, and it's huge different. The percentage of gains, 40%. Like, it's ridiculous. And that those motors respond very well to upgrades. And that, I mean, hats off to Harley. They've done a good job on that one for sure. And they're dependable. They're good motors. The only issue that I've known that they have, is oil pumps, and they've upgraded and recalled and all that stuff until they've got it figured out, I'm pretty sure. So,
yeah, I personally have a 2017 Street Glide with a Milwaukee 8 in it, and it was insane to be able to, put a cam and a good set of exhaust and a good tune and break 100 horsepower on that thing, because that was unheard of for years.
Yeah, just right there, you picked up 20%. They make 75 horsepower from the factory. So when you do that, you're already gaining 20-something horsepower, which is amazing just by, pretty minor work. It's not nothing that crazy. Back in the day, the 2 valves, you had to destroy it to find 20 horsepower, Yeah,
it's outrageous. And I really love to see, not just how much Harley Davidson is bringing bikes into the market for drag racing and road racing and those types of things. But racing kind of started to fall off there for a while, and it seems to be slowly making its way back. MotoGP and those full-blown sport bikes seem to for a while, those were what people wanted. But it's started branching out. I've noticed here lately, it seems that the supermotos are starting to kind of pick back up in motion and see those types of things.
Yeah, it leads back to the gearheads. People, styles change, and there's different phases and all that stuff. But now it seems like it's all around just going up together. It's there's people that want to go fast with any form of motorcycle, it seems like these days. There's guys building Honda Groms, which is in my mind like a little pit bike, for the racetrack, and they're building them to really go fast. And it's crazy what they're doing, turbos and all nitrous and all this stuff on these things, and drag racing them, and they're quick. It just, you can't hold a gearhead down, I guess you could say, because they're always looking to make something faster.
So do you ride on the road at all, or do you keep it all the track?
I used to, like I said, I just now sold my Harley, and the reason I did sell it is because I didn't have time to ride it much. I think I got rode 3 or 4 times the past year, so I do ride. I just now the other day rode my race bike down the road, actually around the block to the store and back, just because it needed some run time before I took it to the racetrack. And I do ride, but I don't have a lot of time to just go for like a whole day, so it's limited for me. It seems like I'm always working.
Oh, completely understandable that. And, speaking of needing to get that run time in, the season opener, the Voodoo season opener, which is March 30th through April 1st. Talk a little bit about that real quick, if you can.
It's coming quick. I went yesterday and tested one of my bikes, and it needs a couple little minor things I got to do to make sure it's ready for battle. The other one, the motor's on the bench. Probably when we get done with this, I'm going to start getting her together and try to get it in the frame this week and get it ready to go test. STBA has a great series. It's family friendly. Got pretty much a class for everybody. There's classes for the fast guys that want to run top gas, all the way down to proving grounds, which is a beginner's class that don't cost anything to race. You can win a trophy, and it's just to help people that is interested in the sport to get out there and get their feet wet and see what they think about it. And they can come hang out, and they can get help from people like myself or other people there that's got some experience and, progress. And if they like it, before you know it, those same people are racing the other classes.
And, talking about the SDBA and the different classes and those types of things, and kind of tying back to those V-twin bikes, I noticed that Sonny Vic the other day has essentially a wolf in sheep's clothing, an SV that doesn't look like an SV he's going to be hitting the track with. What do you think of something like that?
Yeah, that's a Frankenbach, and that thing it has Sonny Vic wrote all over it. He is the ultimate, I can make that work type person. And it's definitely going to be unique. He showed it to me when he bought it at the end of last year. And I looked at it and was like, oh, my Lord, that's going to be a nightmare to make that thing race worthy. And then here it is. It's ready to go. He's been working on it pretty much all winter, all off season. And he seems excited to go play on it. Knowing Sonny, he's probably maybe even taking it to the track at Brainerd today, knowing him.
Yeah, it was rather interesting too. The first couple pictures I saw where he was test fitting the fairing on his motorcycle. In the comment section, there was all these people that were going, "Wait, something doesn't look right. Something's off here." So
yeah, he just got a hold of some body work that he thought he can make work and made it work. He is the ultimate. Like I said, I can make this work or I can fix that guy, and he did it. I mean, it looks pretty good in my opinion. It come out really nice considering what it looked like when I first saw it. So he should have him something that he can race and work on and make it his own, style and enjoy having his own motorcycle. I think in the past he's always pretty much borrowed a ride or rode for someone else. And it's always nice to have your own because you can make changes and make it the way you want it.
yeah, and I think too, not to kind of make it sound like Sonny's on a pedestal or anything, but I think Sonny's did a fantastic job too of bringing the racing back around and showing people these different things. Being a third generation in that motorsports riding and everything, he's really, I think, grown the sport, which I think is fantastic in itself.
Yeah, we talked about that. I think I've told you that I actually did a podcast with a friend of mine, and we actually had him on the show. We talked about, kind of leading back to, the Sonny's mentality of, I can make my own or I can do my own. He had started having his own little bike races, a couple times a year in Brainerd. And he realized that there wasn't any racing like in our area that was, remotely close. You had to travel, 6-7 hours just to go to a bigger race. And Sonny just said, I'm going to make my own. And he made a series, and man, honestly, it's done great. Every series has growing pains and learning, what not to do and what works. And he's went through that pretty quick. He's done really well. And so far, I think that he has started a pretty successful deal that I think will hold its own. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it kind of keeps its head above water. I'm sure he's overwhelmed with daily job and all that stuff, plus trying to orchestrate a bunch of drag racers, but he does a good job and he handles it well, and everybody seems for the most part respect Sonny.
Yeah, I feel like I've got several friends that also race, and I feel like for him doing that, it's almost kind of like herding cats a lot of times.
He's a babysitter. He's babysitting adults for the most part. No matter what sports you have, you get those guys that seem like they always complain, or then you also have the ones that's always happy no matter what. And you just got to take the good with the bad on that. You know what I mean? And he does good with it.
Yeah, it's real enjoyable. I got to go out last year to Brainerd, which is our local strip, and watch several of the races and participate in sponsorship levels and stuff with a lot of the stuff that was going on. And it was really enjoyable to see. It was really enjoyable to see a lot of new faces coming out there and also see that respect. I've talked to people for years and telling people that aren't from this area or people that are moving to the Southeast that there are more motorcycles here than people realize. Everybody seems to ride, and if they don't, they seem to know somebody that does ride on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're riding just a weekly rider, just go ride the back roads. What better way would it be to take your Saturday and cruise to a drag strip and watch a bunch of guys or girls race and have a good time and maybe have a hot dog and some French fries and enjoy the show, take some videos to show to your family, and then cruise back home? Like, it's multi-purpose. If you have a bike that you want to show, sometimes they have bike shows. If you just want to ride out and spectate and watch a bunch of knuckleheads try to go down the racetrack real fast and enjoy that. And there's we have, Sonny is really good about having kids involved. They have kids racing sometimes and scooter races and pit bike races. And there's plenty to do for a family. And I mean, what better way to, if you're a gearhead or a motorcycle person, to cruise out to the racetrack and ride your bike and enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's really neat. Like I said, to get out there and see all the different people. Like you said, kids out there scooter racing, everything from big guys on little bikes to little people on big bikes. Tana Britton, she's kind of a smaller girl, and she's riding that big old fat boy on the track and everything. So it's really, really awesome to see that and see it grow, because I did grow up for years driving past Brainerd and just been like, oh, that's the old drag strip. It's no longer, old is no longer tagged to that term anymore. It's like, that's the drag strip, which means there's definitely a resurgence of what's happening with that.
Yeah, I mean, our racetracks are very important. And, as cities and towns grow, some racetracks are getting pushed out, so just going to the racetrack with your family and sitting on your tailgate watching some racing and maybe trying to learn to understand the bracket racing if you don't, or whatever, it really helps that little, local business track owner just to keep afloat. So it's important to, go and support them if you can, if you're into that kind of stuff. And I mean, just rolling in with 4 people in your vehicle and paying the entry fee and going and sitting on your tailgate and enjoying some concession stand food and watching everybody have a good time and smile and watch fast stuff going to the racetrack is, I mean, in my opinion, isn't a bad way to spend your weekend.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit real quick about Proving Grounds?
Yeah, I think Proving Grounds is one of the greatest things at SDBA. So Proving Grounds is a beginner's class. So it doesn't matter what kind of motorcycle you race. It can be a slick and bar bike with a full slider, as long as you're a new racer. And we can tell, Sonny can tell if you're a new racer. And you buy in or you don't buy in, you enter because it's free. And everybody competes for a trophy, but it's all about growing and getting out there and not really spending a lot of money to learn how to race. If you have a bike that you just ride and you want to come do it, it don't cost anything. I mean, you got to pay to get in the gate, but you don't have to enter, pay to race. And you get to enjoy a little bit of what we do and learn about it. And if you like it, then you can always continue that class. I think how it works is if you win a championship, you can't, because they have championship chases in that class. If you win the championship, you can't compete in it no more. You move up to like another class of your choice. But it's great to just get people out there and help them learn. I physically watch every season these guys and girls come out there and start off the first of the year and kind of make me nervous when they make a pass. To the end of the year, they're making passes without even no issues. Perfect. So that's how you get better, is you enter classes like the Proving Grounds and you go to the local track and practice between races and you get better. And before you know it, you are good enough to move on to a class that you could win some money in or something. It's pretty cool. It's a great class. I think every series needs one. Yeah,
that's a really good thing. I mean, it's just one of those things that helps the sport grow. Well, listen, Dustin, I really want to thank you for this interview. I'll let you get out into the garage. I know we had talked earlier about how you've got so much going on. I mean, we're hitting the point where you're less than a month away from the racing, and you still have a lot of stuff you've got to do on top of trying to run a business and support a family. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy around here sometimes. This is the time of year where a little bit of sleep and a whole lot of work. I'm very particular on preparation. I think that's one of the biggest keys in success. And the Lord's blessed me with 40 championships, at series and other things and, sanctions. So I got to keep working hard to keep doing better, to compete with these new racers that's coming out there, and they're tough. So I got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, like I said, I want to thank you for giving us your time and everything. Y'all get out there, get out to your local track, go watch some racing, even if you're not in the Southeast, even if you can't see the SDBA. You can go to Facebook. You can just go to Google and type in Southeastern Drag Bike Association and find out any information y'all want to find for the races, to get out and see these guys compete. It's fantastic. And, there's always stuff going on where everything is for a good cause and helps to benefit other people. Dustin, you got anything you want to say before we let you go?
No, I appreciate everybody taking a little time to listen to old hillbilly talk. And if you do need any drag racing parts, Of course, I got a Facebook, personal, or my Hard Times Parts and Service Facebook. Website's hardtimesparts.com. Just give me a holler if you need something. I'll try to help you out.
All right. Thanks, Dustin. Have a good one.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.